Hi, guys. Happy Friday and happy May. So, today we are going to start with our slideshow presentation. I'm going to go over a couple of problems with you, and then you are going to log on to iReady and you're going to complete the comprehension check for lesson 28, which is called Understand Categories of 2D Figures. Then you have to complete your iReady. So since it's the last day of the week, you need a total of 60 minutes in order to receive credit for this week. So again, today we're going to start with that slideshow. You're going to follow that up with your comprehension check by logging into iReady and then finishing whatever minutes you have left of your path. So, yesterday on your exit ticket, I had asked about how many of you are really giving it your all, watching my videos, pausing, and doing the work in your workbooks. And these were just some of the answers. There were a lot of great ones, but I just picked a few just to go over. Somebody said, yes, I'm actually watching your videos and doing the problems and pausing the videos to do the work. Then I'm pausing the video to check in. I want to learn. So, yes, I watch the videos and do it in my workbook. And that made me feel really good to hear somebody say. The next one says, yes, I'm actually doing the problems and trying them in my workbook. Sometimes I go back because I got something wrong, which also made me really happy to hear that if you didn't get something the first time, that you are wanting to really do well with your education. So you're going back and watching that video again to see what you can take from it. Yes, I've been watching the videos and doing the problems with you. And I'm watching and doing the work in my workbook and pausing when you say to. So, again, it just made me feel really good to hear that even though I can't be there with you, you really are trying to do your best. So, again, our math standard is still the same. Understand attributes, looking at categories and subcategories and those relationships of two-dimensional figures. We're just going to take a look at a couple more questions and refine our understanding today, and then you'll do that comprehension check. So again, our vocabulary words, attributes or characteristics. We talk about how a category is a group of objects that are all together because they have a common attribute. A category is more general. And then a subcategory is a more specific part of a category. And then we talked about how we can have Venn diagrams as well as tree diagrams in order to show these relationships. So this little cheat sheet is really helpful. I did include it on one of the slides in your presentation after the video so you can use it as well as use your workbook when you go to do your comprehension check. So anything that you've written down in your workbook, anything that you see there, or this, like I said, chart of quadrilaterals will be really helpful. All right. So let's take a look at this problem here. So you can see that it's asking us to evaluate 4 different parts, and it says decide if each statement correctly describes a relationship between the categories. And then we'll either put yes or no. So it says for the first one, and again, if you don't have a piece of paper or your notebook or your workbook, why don't you grab something to write with now in a place that you can just kind of jot down your thoughts for these as we go through them. All right. So the first one says equilateral triangles are a subcategory of isosceles triangles. So we know an equilateral and an isosceles triangle are classified by their sides. Equilaterals have 3 sides that are the same, and an isosceles triangle has to have at least 2 sides that are the same. So now that I told you about those definitions, go ahead and decide. Do you think yes, equilaterals are a subcategory of isosceles, or do you think no? All right. You should have said yes, it is a subcategory because isosceles with their 2 equal sides would be above the equilaterals because an equilateral is a more specific isosceles because it has to have 3 equal sides. All right. The next one, it says right triangles are a subcategory of polygons. So remember, categories are broad, subcategories are more specific. A right triangle is a triangle classified by its sides, by its angles, meaning that it has one right angle. And a polygon refers to any shape that is closed and made up of straight sides. So, what do you think about this one? Is this statement true or not true? So, what did you write down? Yes, it's true. No, it's not true. Right triangles are a subcategory of polygons. Yes, they are. All right. Again, because right triangles are a subcategory because they are more specific than just saying polygons. All right. So the next one says polygons are a subcategory of parallelograms. Polygons, again, talk about any enclosed shape. It can have lots of different numbers of sides. Parallelograms is a four-sided shape with two sides that are parallel. So, yes, this definitely describes the relationship, or no, it doesn't describe the relationship. So get your answer written down. And this one here is no. Polygons are not a subcategory because polygons is a more general, broad term, whereas parallelograms is more specific. And the last one, rectangles are a subcategory of parallelograms. Now, a rectangle has to have four sides, it has to have four right angles, and opposite sides have to be parallel as well as equal length. A parallelogram has to be a four-sided figure where opposite sides are the same size as well as parallel. So are rectangles a subcategory? Yes or no? All right, make your choices, and you should have selected yes. Rectangles are parallelograms, they just have right angles as well. All right. So let's take a look at our next slide. So here you can see I have some terms: quadrilateral, trapezoid, polygon, parallelogram, rhombus, and you can see that I have an empty tree diagram here. So if you take a look at these terms, remember the most broad at the top, and then you can see, well, wait a second, after this one, there's a split. So there has to be some type of attribute that causes a split here, and then we have another subcategory. I want you to push pause on the video and draw this tree diagram, placing the terms where you think they go. And then we'll come back once you push play and go over them. All right. So, which of these terms is the most general out of all of them? And when I look at this, I see quadrilateral, a four-sided figure, trapezoid, a four-sided figure with only one set of parallel lines, a polygon, any number of sides figure as long as it's closed and made up of straight lines, a parallelogram, four-sided figure with two sets of parallel lines, and a rhombus is a four-sided figure with two sets of parallel lines, but all sides are also equal. So for the very top one, you actually should have went with polygon because it talks about lots of lots of different numbered size shapes. Four-sided shapes, five-sided shapes, 10-sided shapes. So now taking a look, what is the next term that would be the most general? And I know that all of these talk about four-sided figures. So this here, quadrilateral, is going to come next. All right. So now we have these three terms left, and there's a break here. Well, let's think about what's different about what's happening here with these terms? Well, I know that these two are kind of similar. A trapezoid only has one set of parallel sides, and a parallelogram and a rhombus both have two sets. So we're going to take the trapezoid, and that will go here. And now we have to figure out, well, which one of these is the subcategory of the other? Are all rhombuses parallelograms, or are all parallelograms a rhombus? Parallelogram is going to go next because it talks about the fact that it has to have four sides and two sets of parallel sides, where a rhombus is the one that has all of those same characteristics, but also needs those four equal sides. So that's why it's a subcategory. So hopefully you were able to create this tree diagram on your own. And if you made any mistakes, just go ahead and fix them. All right, so this is going to be the last thing we do together today before you head on over to your iReady comprehension check. You can see that over here I have our little cheat sheet of the characteristics or attributes of all of our four-sided figures, quadrilaterals, and we're going to decide, are these statements over here true or false? All rhombuses are squares. Well, can I take this shape that's under a rhombus here and put that picture under the square category? So go ahead and make that decision. Write it down in your notebook. T for true, F for false. And you should have picked false for this one. Why? Because if I can't draw this picture of this rhombus over here, because it needs to have four right angles. You can see the first two bullets are the same, but squares are a subcategory of a rhombus. All right, let's check the next one. All squares are parallelograms. Well, here's what we have for parallelograms. Two pairs of parallel sides, two pairs of sides of equal length. Well, you can see a square definitely has two pairs of parallel sides, and it does have two sides of equal length. The top is the same as the bottom. The left is the same as the right. They also just have all of them that are the same. So for this one here, are you thinking true or are you thinking false? You should have said true. All squares are parallelograms. Again, a square is a subcategory of a parallelogram. All right, the next one. All rhombuses are parallelograms. Well, taking a look at those attributes of each of these, what do you think? True or false? All right, for this one, you should have also said true because a rhombus meets all of the qualifications of a parallelogram. A rhombus is a subcategory of a parallelogram. All right, we got two more just to take a look at. The next one says all quadrilaterals have four sides. True or false? Think about the definition of a quadrilateral. You see those four letters, quad. Can you make a connection to anything else in the real world that uses that term? All right, make your selection. All quadrilaterals have four sides is true, because a quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. And the last one is, it says a trapezoid has two sets of parallel sides. We'll go ahead and find trapezoid in our cheat sheet over here and read about its attributes. At least one pair of parallel sides, and you can see the top and the bottom. So this one here is false. A trapezoid only has one set of parallel sides. All right, so this is my review for the day. You can go back and watch any of the videos from any of the other days to help you. Don't forget, you can use your notes, your workbook, anything to help you on your comprehension check today. So head on over now to iReady, finish up that assigned comprehension check, finish up your iReady minutes, If you have any missed work from this week, please make sure you complete it so I can give you credit for that. And when you are done, I hope you guys have a great weekend.